After 8 years of love, sacrifice, and fighting for us, I have reached the point where my heart wants to stay, but my mind is begging me to walk away. What would you do if the person you love the most has already broken your trust too many times? Hello, everybody. I do not know if this is the appropriate place to say this, but I kind of need some help. By the way, sorry for some misspellings because English is not my first language. So you are probably wondering about the title, and I am going to write this as clearly and truthfully as I can. Note that this is not some fake story created for content. This is my current life situation, so please stick with me for 10 minutes. It all started 8 years ago. I was in high school, a normal kid with a small group of friends, and I was a virgin. One thing that I was good at was being friendly to women. All of the girls in my class were my friends, and I kind of liked it. One day in my new class, a new girl was there, transferred from another school. Let us call her Joanna. She was around 1 meter and 50 centimeters tall, with green eyes, curly hair, a curvy figure, and she was very different from every other girl in school. She caught my attention very easily. She had a temper, though, a very complicated one, but I liked that. There was one thing. She did not hang around with our class. She had other friends from different classes, so we never had the same relationship that I had with the other girls. But the small talks we had and the looks she gave me were enough to make me have a crush on her. Fast forward some time, she got a boyfriend. Let us call him Tiago. To be honest, Tiago was not a good person. I knew him even though he was from a different class because we played on the same football team. I'm not going to lie, that situation hurt me like a knife, but I tried to accept it. They hung around like a couple, but it was a strange relationship. She was always around him and always got super jealous, and before that, she had been with another bad boyfriend who cheated on her. Tiago was also the possessive type, and he cheated on her as well. Everybody warned her, but she stayed with him. At that time, I just watched and got distant from her. Until one day I said to myself, forget it. She has a toxic relationship with a bad guy. By that time we were friends. I got fond of her and I was starting to fall in love with her. On that day I invited her to have lunch with me. When we were going to have lunch, she told me that she needed to say something to me. I thought, okay, does she like me too? I was never so wrong in my life. My world crumbled and she dropped the ultimate news. Let us call me João. João, I am expecting a baby from Tiago, she said. After this statement, I froze in time. I can say that a single tear fell from the corner of my eye. I went from wanting to say that I loved her to hearing that, and it was the worst feeling I had ever had. I put my feelings away and just said, really? I think I can say congratulations. Needless to say, the entire lunchtime was extremely awkward. Fast forward 4 or 5 months after the revelation, our relationship was never the same. I got more distant from her, and one day I made a decision that I deeply regret until today. Classes had started. The school was empty and I was late. I was walking by and saw Joanna and Tiago arguing. By this time, they were no longer a couple since the guy had left her after knowing she was pregnant. I stopped and looked at them. I saw Tiago kicking her and slapping her on the face, one single kick and a slap. I saw it and did not move. I did not say anything. I just walked by thinking about my own hurt feelings. You can call me a coward, selfish, whatever you want, and you would be right. I was a 16-year-old kid whose heart was broken. I was still a child at the time, but still, I was wrong for doing that. A few months passed. She had a beautiful girl. Let us call her Inés. She left to study sciences, and I was stuck in the same classes as before since I had failed my tests. That year was very difficult for me. I repeated the year, and this time I graduated at the top of my class. I chose tourism as my course. When I was preparing to see the people in my class, I saw her name. She had transferred from science to tourism. At that moment, I just thought, oh no, here we go again. The new year started, and we already knew each other as friends. We started talking and developing a very friendly relationship. Over time, I admit I was kind of falling for her again. And I think after she really got to know me, she started feeling the same. One day in IT class, she sat next to me and started making a move. It was not a friendly one, but a flirtatious one. One hand on my back and one on my leg. I was very surprised, but I responded in the same way. That small thing was enough to start something. Next week we were going home and I told myself, this time I will not miss this chance. At that moment I was in love with her again. A sweet, beautiful girl, attentive and respectful. I saw a side of her I had never seen before, and I could tell she had learned from her previous 2 relationships. We were going separate ways, and I told her, So, are you going to leave me without a goodbye kiss? She looked at me with shy eyes and gave me a kiss. I was stunned. My first real kiss mixed with feelings was amazing. I left feeling like the happiest man alive. The next day we talked about it, expressed our feelings for each other, and started exploring our relationship. Hugs, goodbye kisses, small things, nothing too extreme. After 2 weeks we were thriving, happy, and comfortable with each other. I decided to ask her to be my girlfriend and she accepted. Now we were in an official relationship. At the time I did not think that little Inez would be a problem, and she was not. She was a baby and her family helped her a lot. Also, we were in school, so it was easy to manage. Fast forward, we had a very loving time. I lost my virginity with her. By the way, it was terrible, but she was understanding and kind, and she helped me through the process and taught me. After that, we were very intimate almost every day, since after school we had 1 hour to spare while little Inez was in daycare. We were in love, and that was the most important thing. Fast forward, school was great. We helped each other. We were the best in class. It was great. We had our fights like any other couple. I never abused her physically or mentally, but our fights involved a lot of jealousy from her side. Simply me talking to a girl was a trigger for her. It was very hard. At that time I was immature and I did not think about how this came from her past traumas, and I did not take it seriously. I just argued back and it always turned ugly. After 1 year together, I was tired of arguing every 2 weeks over something small. So when summer break happened, I broke up with her, telling myself that I wanted to enjoy the summer without any weight. We never talked again. Girls, sunsets, alcohol, and so on. For 3 months it was great. Until the end of August when I needed money and started working at the same restaurant where my aunt was a manager, and my cousin, let us call him Manuel, worked as well. I had a brother-like relationship with Manuel. Our mothers were sisters. One day, we both walked from his house to the restaurant and he wanted to speak with me. He started telling me a story, and to summarize, he told me that Joanna had worked at that restaurant, by coincidence, and left 1 week before I started working there. He said that he liked her and that they were going out and spending time together. Note that there was no kissing, no touching, no intimacy, nothing, just spending time together. After that statement, a switch flipped inside me. I got very jealous, but for his sake I said, "It is okay, brother, do not worry, it is all good." We broke up. He was relieved by that, but at that time I just could not accept him being with her. There was no way. So I called her, explained everything, and she told me that he was just a friend and she did not know we were cousins. Manuel knew and hid it from her. I believed her, to be honest. Fast forward, I told myself that I was not going to lose her to him. I secretly started trying to get her back, and in the end it worked. School started and she was mine again, but at the cost of my family. Manuel never spoke with me again, nor did my aunt and uncle. They stopped talking to me and my family. This was the worst moment, and I felt the pain in my mother. But after I explained everything that happened, I summarized the story with Manuel, but he and his family did some bad things to me and Joanna. My mother took my side and supported me. Nothing happened between them, and I was relieved by it. Fast forward, we dated, and after that incident, 2 years passed and school was finished. We were ready for adult life. We started working. I was working at a hotel and she was working in an office. It was difficult. Inez was 4 years old and we were still living with our parents, and in my country, getting a house is very, very, very difficult. Years passed and we were good, until the tricky part came last year. Our relationship hit rock bottom really badly. It started with her schedule, entering at 8 in the morning, leaving around 7 at night, and overall no time for us. In the beginning, I understood why. Inez, and trying to build a better life for her, and she always told me that good times were ahead. Spoiler, they never came. 1 month passed, 2 months passed, and in those 2 months we saw each other 3 times and we did not make love even once. Note that we live 5 minutes from each other, but she never had time for us. I tried everything. I changed my work schedule, took days off on Sunday and Monday, and did night shifts on Fridays and Saturdays. So I had Friday and Saturday during the day free, and Sunday and Monday completely off. Even though it was and still is very difficult for me mentally and physically, since I stay awake the whole night and get very little sleep when I can, I said it was worth it because I would have more time with her. That did not help as much as I wanted. We were the same, barely spending time together, no intimacy, nothing. We were like friends. Another month passed and finally we made love. That was the best thing in those 3 months, but that was it. Another month passed and we went out one time. Another month passed and it was the same. We were distant. I felt coldness from her, disapproval, almost a robotic state like she did not care about us. I got so hurt, but I never gave up on us. I kept trying to be with her. I sat in my car for 1 hour at her door waiting for her to see her, but she never came. This happened more times than I can count on my hands. I remember the time I cried in the car alone, trying to understand what I could do. At this point, we were arguing like crazy every day, shouting and crying. I had never cried in my life outside of when my grandfather passed away. But at that period, I was like a baby, emotions high, memories of the past everywhere, and I felt more and more distant, until another knife pierced my heart. Little Inez's birthday in June. Joanna did not invite me. I was devastated. I tried my best to be a good stepdad, but we did not live together and my work was difficult, but I tried my best. After that, I just had this cloud of sadness. She explained that she also invited Joao and did not want us to be together and create a problem. At the time, I tried to be understanding since I just wanted to confront that guy, but I also stated that the guy was not good and had abandoned his daughter. He did not help her with anything, no money, nothing, and only saw his daughter 2 times a year and nothing more. But she was afraid of the courts. She wanted to be the nice mother who allowed the father to have some contact since judges are unpredictable, and she did not want to risk the father being given some custody. I understood and swallowed my pride. After that blow, we were even worse, barely any intimacy, nothing, until in August I told her that I wanted to break up with her. That I was tired of this, I had had enough. Crying all night, being left hanging alone and missing my old girl. I was at my all-time low. After we broke up 2 weeks later, she called me crying that she missed me and wanted to talk. I went to her house and we talked. She was sorry for everything she did to neglect us, and she said she did not want me to go and needed me. She told me that she left her job and was going to do another thing for her sake and ours, and asked me for another chance to change and to try to revive our flame. I was skeptical, but I agreed. We tried, and for 3 weeks it was great. I saw some changes, slow, but they were there, until at the end of August she got another chance at her job, but with a fixed schedule, entering at 9 and leaving at 5. This was new since she had never had a schedule to work with. I reluctantly said, "Okay, let us see and try." 1 month passed and we were back at square one. Everything was the same. But the difference was that we were together at least 1 time per week. But the work was so much again. Overtime, sometimes not being able to see each other for 2 weeks. It was hard. The pain was coming back, the arguing was back, everything was back. I lasted until, by November, I exploded once again, crying and finally letting out all the pain. Everything that had built up for 1 year came out. The missed birthday, the Christmas presents I did not receive from her, the fact that I was not invited to Inez's birthday, and so much more. I snapped and gave up once again. I broke up with her, and this time I told myself that I was going to focus on solitude, being alone and not missing her, because that was the worst thing for me. Then December 2024 began, and she asked me for another chance. This time she was much calmer than before, and once again I fell for it. I agreed with one condition. If her work got between us like before, I would be out. If she kept the same attitude, I would be out. I told her clearly that I wanted the sweet and caring girl that I had fallen for, and we agreed to try once again. That month passed, and I actually started to see potential changes. She was different. She was really trying her best to be the best girlfriend she could be. 3 months passed and we were good. We were going out together with Inez. We were making love regularly and things felt great. But then in March of 2025, everything collapsed again. We grew distant once again. Work, arguments, everything started all over. Things became bad once again. This time, however, I had a different approach. I learned from my mistakes and I told myself that I was not going to suffer again. Even though I love her with everything that I have. We argued and tried to communicate as best as possible. But the issues were deep. It reached a point where she initiated intimacy, but for the first time I tried to go along with it and I could not. I stopped in the middle. I was not feeling anything. I was empty for her, no desire, no mood, nothing. The sensation inside me was saying, "This is wrong. This does not feel right." I do not want this. This was my head speaking, but my heart said I should go along with it. This happened 2 times, and the last time was just 4 days ago. I was exhausted from work. I had worked 6 nights in a row, and on that day, after leaving work at 8 in the morning, I got home, slept for 2 hours, and then prepared to go to her house. Everything went sideways. It started at lunch with a small argument, nothing major. After that, we sat on the couch. She was watching television, and I asked her, "Baby, can you give me a massage, please? Let us go to the bedroom." I wanted to speak with her about the past months in a more relaxed environment because I know she is explosive. After 2 tries, she finally gave in, came to the bedroom, and started the massage. After 5 minutes, I said to her, "Baby, is there anything you want to talk about?" She answered, "No, we speak every day. Note that our conversations for months have been only, 'Good morning, good night, and how is your day?' Very basic things." After hearing what she said, I just accepted it. She had no interest in talking, and I am not going to open myself up for someone who does not want to listen. After 10 minutes, I started intimacy, everything the way she likes it. After some foreplay, I gently, and I emphasize gently, put my hand on her throat, and she, in a very rude way, almost speaking with no emotion and in a cold way, said, "Stop that. Do not do it." I froze. Note that this same girl had asked me multiple times before to hold her throat during intimacy and for other things, but at that time I did not want anything rough. I literally just placed my hand on her neck. After that statement, I snapped. I stopped everything I was doing and told her that I was leaving. I got up from the bed, put on my boxers, pants, and shirt, and went to the living room, leaving her naked on the bed, speechless. I was ready to leave when she came and asked, "Are you serious? Can you come back to bed, please?" I just snuffed it away and told her, "Absolutely not. I am not going to be treated like a random person, like I am disposable. I deserve respect, not coldness. After everything, there is no way you are going to speak to me like that for something so small." She became angry. I got myself ready to leave, heading toward the door, while she grabbed my hand and guided me out of the door. I left ice cold. Without turning back, I heard her screaming in desperation, but I left and did not speak with her that day. In the end, here is my question. These months have been very difficult for us, and we have grown distant from each other. The love is there, but everything else is not. I have learned to be alone, and I have actually started not looking for her comfort. I have started to not care for her as much as I did, with the fear of being broken again. I have never fully trusted her since last year, and I cannot feel good with her anymore. After everything, I still love her, but my head says that I should leave for good this time and start fresh with another person. What can I do? I am having this mental battle, knowing that I can be alone and that if we break up, I will be fine. But my heart says that I love her and want to stay. After almost 8 years, I am 23 years old, and honestly, I am more mature and have started to see things differently. I have started to know more people, and everything feels different. I have this thought that I'm still young and that I should have new experiences. But that thought goes against my heart that says she is the love of my life. What should I do? Should I leave her? Or stay and try again with the risk that she loses my trust again with another bad phase? Do I stay and risk being hurt again, or finally choose myself and walk away? Share your honest advice. What would you do in my place?